Now I've arranged to meet my friend the owl round here somewhere, and if I keep on studying the landscape I should find him. It's not common to find an owl who's prepared to be interviewed, and so I'm hoping that he will be where I expected him, which indeed he is. Good-o. Here is my dear friend the owl. Now it's very lucky that we have my friend the owl to talk to, because they don't come out very much during daytime. I mean, as you know, they probably prefer to be at night, don't they? And I'm very glad to see you. It's very good of you to come out. How are you, by the way? He says he's fair to middling. He doesn't like to talk in public, so he mutters out of the side of his beak, and so one has to make the best of what one can make out of it. Now, the first question I wanted to ask you, which I'm sure everyone wants to know, is, are owls as wise as they're cracked up to be? To which his answer, of course, is yes. And in that sense, what would you regard as the most worrying situation? What does your wisdom suggest we should be worried about? And he says the answer is the credit situation in China. It's extremely worrying, and one must hope that people manage things properly to avoid the situation which could arise with all this debt there is around, of a horrible depression as a consequence. And he regards that as the most worrying thing that he can cite. He's very concerned about. What other issues do you find worrying in the world situation? And he responds by saying the situation in Europe, because if, as we go ahead with separating from the EU, the borders get difficult, then it's quite possible that other owls from abroad may come invading into England and make life more difficult for the present population of owls. He says there's quite enough of us here, really, and we can't really have many more owls, and all sorts of rather ferocious owls from Europe coming whizzing in here, because we've got quite enough trouble with these wretched red kites. These great things you see flying in the sky with forked tails. They are a terrible trouble to him, because they eat all the stuff that he wants to eat, such as roadkill, and so they can't really get it, the owls, and so the owls are suffering greatly from red kites. Unfortunately, red kites are protected, so we can't shoot them out of the skies as we might otherwise have done in the good old days. But he says it's extremely helpful that we and other people have bird tables, because they can hop onto them and have the odd crumb to keep them going from one day to the next, because that's all one can do when the winter is terribly hard. But then in the spring, of course, things will get better. Do you have a wife or mate or something? He says he does, not in this parish but next door, and they go and meet during the mating season, and they'll then have a flock of little owls in a nest, which he hopes will be a happy one, because it's very good hunting around here generally, and they should be able to get their flock of baby owls raised and fledged before the weather gets too dry or otherwise inhospitable. Right, old boy, that I think completes the interview, and thank you very much indeed for your help, and I'm sure the viewers will be extremely happy with your remarks and be studying them closely.